It is Tuesday, September 26th, and you are not here, but you're in the right place. So you're on Google Classroom right now, and today we're going through lesson 1.2.6. So the learning targets for today's lesson is that you will be able to review methods for adding fractions with unlike denominators. And then the success criteria for today is, can you make a multiplication table? And then can you use the multiplication table to find the least common multiple for two different numbers? And in some cases, three different numbers. Okay, so that's what we are doing today. Just a reminder, because I've been updating your grades and all your participation points, if anytime you want to check what your homework grades are or your participation points are, go to Google Classroom. Anytime you want to check an assessment, a formative assessment, standards-based, or a standards-based summative assessment, that's in Infinite Campus. So assessment grades, formative, summative, standards-based, Infinite Campus, and then homework participation, Google Classroom. Two different places for two different things. Okay, so what are we going to do? The first thing that we talked about in the lesson was this, and I put this problem up, and I said Justin is working on a new problem, 1/3, so we colored 1 out of 3, and then we went plus 1/2. And I said 1/3 plus 1/2 must equal 2/3. And then the kids looked at that, and I'm like, does that sound right? 1/3 plus 1. Does it look right? And the kid said, no, it doesn't look right because they have to be the same size. And then I said, okay, so then how do you make them the same size? One thing we could do is overlay pictures with 1/2 and 1/3. The other thing we could do is look at the denominators. Like, if they're not the same thing, you can't add them or subtract them. So then we're like, well, what can 3 and 2 both go into? So then we got talking about least common denominators. And then we got talking about multiplication tables. So then we passed out multiplication tables, and we looked at them. And then we said, let's go out and create our own multiplication table, see if you can find some patterns here. So we went outside, we took the chalk, we went out by the tennis courts, and we broke the kids into their groups, and we had them make multiplication tables. And then after we had the multiplication tables we set up, we said, if we want to add 5/4 and 7/10, what can 4 and 10 both go into? So they would track 4 this way, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. And then they would track 10, 10, 20, 30, 40. And then they wanted to find the first number that matched each one. So they would map this one out, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 20. And they said, well, there's a 40 here, but is there a smaller one? Those worked the best. So then they went 4, 8, 12, 16. Oh, we found a 20 here, and we found a 20 here. Let's use 20. So then we took our chalk and we said, if we know we want to get into 20, okay? So if we want to take this problem and we want to do 5/4 plus 7/10, okay, what's the smallest, lowest common denominator we could use as 20? So then we said, what big one do we have to multiply 5/4 with to get it into 20? So 5/4 times something over something will give us 20. And then 7/10 times a big one, or a giant one, will get us 20. So then they're like, oh, it's got to be 5/5. So that's 25/20. And this one was 2/2, so that's 14/20. Now we can add them up. We did the same with this one then. We said, what about 5/6 plus 3/4 plus 1/5? That's tricky because now you have to find the lowest common denominator for 6 and 4 and 5. Then we said, would 24 work? Why or why not? And then we practiced adding these. 1/4 plus 5/6, 2/7 plus 2/3, 5/12 plus 1/2, and then 3/4 plus 1/2 plus 1/5 right there. Okay. And then from there we went up and we worked on our homework. So this one says Freed wants to add 1/4 plus 5/8. Add the fractions by using a giant 1 to create a common denominator. How can factors help you? Use your homework help if you don't remember how to get started on this. Otherwise, remember what we did outside working with the multiplication table in the chalk. Mario was visiting the carnival when he noticed a few relationships. He made them into brain teasers. If 3/10 of the visitors were adults and there were 100 visitors, how many visitors were adults? 5/8 of the prizes at the giant spin were dolls. If there were 64 prizes, how many prizes were not dolls? Check your help. Maybe they give you a little hint here. Okay. Order these numbers from greatest to least on a number line. And then add these numbers together. 3/5 plus 1/3, 5/7 plus 1/2, 1/6 plus 2/8. Sound good? All right, to recap, we worked on 1.2.6. We assigned the homework 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. We reminded you that you keep your homework grades and your participation grades on Google Classroom, and you keep your standards-based formative and summative assessments on Infinite Campus. All right? I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're well, and I hope I see you tomorrow. See you.